Hey there, I'm Apple from AppleKnows, the channel where we peel back the surface of our world and dive straight into the mind-bending, jaw-dropping truths hidden beneath it. Today, I'm not giving you just a list of facts, I'm taking you on a journey across the planet you think you know, but trust me, you don't. Because Earth isn't what it seems. Let's start with something simple: the ground beneath your feet is moving. Right now. You might think you're sitting still, but the Earth is spinning at about 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. And if that doesn't blow your mind, our planet is also hurtling around the Sun at nearly 107,000 kilometers per hour. Yet, we feel nothing. Absolute stillness, while we're moving faster than any jet ever built. But that's only the beginning. Let's talk about the smell of rain, that fresh, nostalgic scent that makes everyone feel alive. It's called petrichor, and it's not the rain you're smelling. It's the result of plant oils and a chemical called geosmin released by soil-dwelling bacteria when water hits dry ground. That earthy smell is literally microbial life announcing that it's alive. And our brains? They've evolved to love it. We're drawn to the scent because, deep down, it signaled survival. Rain meant water, crops, life. Here's one that might keep you awake tonight. Every single human on this planet contains traces of stardust, literally. Almost every element in your body was formed inside a dying star billions of years ago. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe, all of it forged in cosmic furnaces, then scattered across the universe. You are, in the most literal sense, the universe trying to understand itself. And that's not poetic exaggeration. It's pure astrophysical truth. But wait, what if I told you the highest mountain on Earth isn't Mount Everest? Sure, Everest is the tallest above sea level, but if you measure from base to peak, the champion is Mauna Kea in Hawaii, over 10,000 meters tall, though more than half of it hides below the ocean. And here's the twist: the farthest point from Earth's center isn't Everest either. It's actually Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador, thanks to the bulge at the equator caused by Earth's rotation. So the person standing on top of Chimborazo is technically farther from the planet's core than anyone on Everest. Still with me? Because it's about to get stranger. The Sahara Desert, that endless sea of sand, wasn't always a desert. Only about 10,000 years ago, it was a lush, green savanna full of lakes, trees, and wildlife. There's rock art deep in its caves showing hippos, giraffes, and even people swimming. Climate shifts turned it into the barren landscape we know today, and scientists believe it might one day turn green again. Earth, in all its complexity, never stays still. Even its deserts have life cycles. And speaking of ancient transformations, did you know that Earth used to have not one, but two moons? Some theories suggest that billions of years ago, a smaller second moon orbited beside our current one before the two eventually collided, merging into the single lunar body we see today. The faint asymmetry on the moon's surface might be the scar left from that cosmic impact. But let's zoom in. Deep inside your body, right now, are about 100 trillion microorganisms. You're technically more bacterial than human by cell count. These tiny organisms are not just passengers, they control your digestion, mood, immunity, even decision-making through chemical signals sent to your brain. So when you crave something, it might not be you craving it, it might be the bacteria inside you whispering their desires. And the air you're breathing? It's ancient. Some of the oxygen molecules entering your lungs right now could have been exhaled by dinosaurs millions of years ago. The atmosphere is a constant recycler, nothing ever truly leaves. Every breath is shared across time, connecting us with every living thing that ever existed. Then there's the deepest place on Earth, the Mariana Trench. It's so deep that if Mount Everest were dropped into it, the mountain's peak would still be over 2 kilometers underwater. Down there, the pressure is over 1,000 times what you feel at sea level, and yet, life exists. Strange, glowing creatures thrive in total darkness, living off chemical energy instead of sunlight. It's like another planet, hidden within our own. And while we're talking extremes, here's one you won't believe: the Earth's magnetic field flips. North becomes south, south becomes north. It's happened hundreds of times in the planet's history, sometimes as often as every few 100,000 years. The next flip? It's already overdue. When it happens, compass needles will go haywire, and satellites, power grids, and communications could be disrupted worldwide. The planet won't care it's done this before, but we will. We think we've conquered Earth, but in truth, we've barely met her. More than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our own seafloor. There could be entire ecosystems, undiscovered species, or even new chemical processes happening beneath the waves that we've never witnessed. And here's one final twist before we dive even deeper: the Earth hums. Literally. Even in total silence, our planet emits a low-frequency vibration that scientists only discovered in 1998. It's not caused by earthquakes or winds, it's a constant, mysterious resonance. The Earth is singing, and we're only just learning to listen. That hum, that strange, ghostly vibration of the Earth is just one of the planet's countless whispers that we've only begun to hear. But what if I told you that our planet also breathes? Not metaphorically, but physically. Every single day, the Earth expands and contracts by about 30 centimeters due to the gravitational pull of the Moon. It's called the Earth tide. The same invisible force that moves the oceans also flexes the solid crust of our planet like it's made of rubber. You can't feel it, but it's happening right beneath your feet, a silent, rhythmic breathing of the planet itself. And here's something that challenges everything you thought you knew about nature's power: lightning doesn't just strike downward. Sometimes, it shoots upward into space. These are called sprites, giant red flashes that explode 80 kilometers above thunderstorms. They were once dismissed as pilots' hallucinations until NASA finally captured them on film. Imagine lightning not striking the ground, but firing into the heavens. It's Earth's electricity reaching out toward the stars. But electricity isn't the only thing Earth throws upward. There are places where rocks literally move across the ground by themselves, the famous sailing stones of Death Valley. For decades, no one could explain how massive stones slid across the desert, leaving long trails behind them. Then, scientists finally caught the truth: thin sheets of ice form overnight, and when the morning sun melts them, a soft breeze pushes the rocks as if they're alive. The desert moves, but only when no one's watching. Let's go deeper, underground. Did you know there's more water locked beneath the Earth's crust than in all the oceans combined? Scientists found an entire reservoir, trapped inside minerals hundreds of kilometers down, enough to fill the oceans 3 times over. It's like an invisible sea beneath the sea. And this hidden water might play a role in earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. It's part of Earth's beating, boiling heart. Now, think about trees. They seem so still, so quiet, but trees talk. Through a vast underground network of fungi, called the Wood Wide Web, trees share nutrients and send chemical signals to warn each other of danger. A tree being attacked by insects can alert its neighbors, who then produce defensive chemicals before the attackers even arrive. It's like an ancient, living internet beneath the forest floor, and we only discovered it recently. And if you thought humans controlled time, here's a twist: Earth's rotation is slowing down. Every century, our day lengthens by about 1.7 milliseconds because of the Moon's gravitational drag. Millions of years from now, the day will last 25 hours instead of 24. It's slow, yes, but relentless. The clock of the planet itself is changing, and we're just passengers on its ticking surface. But here's something even stranger: the coldest place on Earth isn't what you think. It's not Antarctica's surface, but a small ridge in East Antarctica where temperatures drop below -94 degrees Celsius. That's so cold that the air itself becomes brittle. At that temperature, even your breath could freeze and fall like snow. Yet, microorganisms, extremophiles, have been found surviving in places nearly as cold. Life, it seems, refuses to surrender. Speaking of extremes, the hottest place ever recorded on Earth wasn't a desert at all. It was a dark asphalt runway in Iran that reached over 70 degrees Celsius, hot enough to fry an egg in seconds. But heat is only part of the story. Deep in the caves of Mexico lies a chamber called the Cave of Crystals, where massive, sword-like crystals stretch over 10 meters long. The temperature inside? Around 58 degrees Celsius, with humidity near 100%. Humans can barely survive there for more than 10 minutes, yet these crystals have been growing quietly for 500,000 years. And still, there's more. You might think the continents are static, but they drift like rafts across a liquid mantle. Every year, the Atlantic Ocean grows by about 2.5 centimeters, pushing America farther from Europe. The Pacific, meanwhile, is shrinking. Entire continents have vanished in the past, swallowed by shifting plates. One day, another supercontinent will rise again, reshaping the face of the planet. But the wildest truth? Earth isn't perfectly round. It's an oblate spheroid slightly squashed at the poles and bulging at the equator. In fact, because of this bulge, someone standing at sea level in Ecuador is farther from the Earth's center than someone at the North Pole by over 21 kilometers. So when you stand there, you're technically standing higher than Mount Everest, in a way that defies simple geography. And the colors of Earth, oh, they're more deceptive than you think. The ocean isn't blue because it reflects the sky, it's blue because water naturally absorbs colors from the red end of the light spectrum, leaving the blue to scatter. So when you look at the ocean, you're not seeing a reflection, you're seeing the essence of light itself, stripped down to its bluest core. But we're just scratching the surface. The truth is, Earth has memories written in ice, stone, and DNA, stories of fire, extinction, rebirth. The planet remembers every impact, every eruption, every breath of evolution. And some of those memories are still unfolding right now, beneath our cities, in our air, even within us. Let's peel back another layer of Earth's truth, because if you think you've heard it all, you haven't even touched the core. Literally. Deep beneath your feet, at the center of our planet, there's a solid iron sphere roughly the size of the moon, spinning inside a sea of molten metal. But here's the shocker, that inner core rotates at a slightly different speed than the rest of Earth. Sometimes it even slows down or reverses direction relative to the mantle. It's like the heart of the planet has its own mysterious rhythm, beating on a timescale we can barely measure. Scientists still don't fully understand why, but they know that without it, Earth's magnetic field would vanish, and life as we know it would be erased by solar radiation. Speaking of the magnetic field, did you know it's shifting fast? The magnetic North Pole, which once sat firmly in the Canadian Arctic, is racing toward Siberia at a rate of over 50 kilometers per year. No one can fully explain why. Compasses are quietly going out of sync, airports have had to rename runways, and the planet's invisible shield continues to drift like a restless ghost. Now, let's talk about sound, or rather, the lack of it. If you were to stand in the quietest place on Earth, an anechoic chamber in Minnesota, you'd hear something terrifying, your own body. The sound of your heartbeat, your blood moving, even the creak of your bones. The silence there is so complete that no one can stay inside for more than a few minutes without feeling dizzy or panicked. Because humans weren't made for total silence, we need the hum of life to remind us we exist. And then there's lightning again, only this time, inside volcanoes. During eruptions, volcanic ash particles collide and create static electricity, forming massive bolts of lightning that crack through the smoke. It's called a dirty thunderstorm, and it's one of the most violent natural displays on Earth, lightning born from fire and ash. If you ever see it, you're witnessing electricity created by the planet's fury. But even the fury of Earth can't compare to its patience. The longest living organism on the planet isn't a whale or a tree, it's a single patch of seagrass off the coast of Spain, estimated to be around 200,000 years old. It's been growing quietly since before modern humans even existed. Every blade you see on the surface is connected to a vast, ancient root network that's older than our entire species. Here's a mindbender: the largest living structure on Earth isn't on land at all, it's the Great Barrier Reef. But calling it a reef doesn't do it justice. It's alive, stretching over 2,300 kilometers, visible from space, and made up of billions of tiny organisms working together. It's one of the only living things on the planet that can be seen from orbit, a literal heartbeat of coral that built itself from the ocean floor upward. Now, take a moment and imagine a rain that burns, because on some parts of Earth, it almost does. In Ethiopia's Dalal hydrothermal field, acidic pools bubble with pH levels so low they could dissolve human skin. The colors are hypnotic: neon greens, yellows, and oranges, but it's one of the most toxic environments on Earth. Yet even there, scientists found traces of microbial life. Life refuses to obey the rules of survival. And here's one that blurs the line between science and mystery: there's a place in Venezuela where lightning strikes the same spot over 200 days a year. It's called Catatumbo, and no one knows exactly why. Warm winds, cold air, methane from the swamps, they all play a part, but the consistency is baffling. It's a lightning storm that never truly ends, flickering night after night like Earth's own heartbeat of electricity. But let's zoom back to the skies. The upper atmosphere is filled with invisible rivers, atmospheric rivers, carrying more water vapor than the Amazon River itself. These airborne streams can stretch for thousands of kilometers, and when they hit land, they unleash catastrophic rains. Every major flood you've ever seen likely started as one of these silent, skyborne rivers drifting unseen across continents. And here's something that bends reality: there are places on Earth where gravity isn't constant. Yes, you heard that right. Due to variations in mass and density beneath the surface, gravity slightly changes from place to place. The Hudson Bay in Canada, for instance, has less gravity than other parts of the planet because of an ancient ice sheet that once compressed and reshaped the crust. Technically, you weigh a bit less there. The planet isn't perfectly balanced, it's full of invisible dips and warps, as if it's still recovering from its ancient wounds. But even in its imperfection, Earth creates beauty beyond reason. Bioluminescent bays, like those in Puerto Rico, glow bright blue at night, lit by microscopic organisms reacting to movement in the water. Step in, and the ocean lights up around your body like liquid stars. It's not science fiction, it's living light. A sea that responds to your touch. And still, our planet hides secrets in plain sight. The Sahara, that vast, lifeless desert we talked about earlier? It's filled with glass. Not the kind you drink from, natural glass formed by ancient meteor impacts that turn sand into shimmering green sheets. Fragments of those impacts have been found even in ancient Egyptian jewelry, worn by pharaohs thousands of years ago. Pieces of the stars, molded by Earth's fire, worn by kings. And if you think that's poetic, wait till you hear this: 1 teaspoon of soil contains more living organisms than there are humans on the entire planet. Billions of microbes, fungi, and bacteria, all living and dying in that single spoonful. The ground we walk on isn't dead, it's teeming with life, a microscopic universe beneath our every step. And if you could shrink yourself down and dive into that single teaspoon of soil, you'd find something almost alien. Threads of fungi stretching like networks of glowing veins, bacteria building invisible cities, and microscopic creatures with glass-like shells moving through tiny forests of root hairs. Every grain of dirt is a galaxy of life, each organism playing a role in the planet's balance, decomposing, recycling, creating. The Earth isn't just alive on its surface. It's alive all the way down to its smallest atom of existence. But life doesn't stop in the soil. Even in the upper atmosphere, 10 kilometers above your head, scientists have found living bacteria floating on dust particles. They drift for years in the sky, carried by winds across oceans and continents, sometimes landing in a storm and seeding life elsewhere. The sky isn't empty. It's alive, quietly moving pieces of the biosphere around the globe, connecting every ecosystem with every other. Now, let's go to a place where life itself seems impossible: the deep Antarctic ice. In 2013, scientists drilled through almost 4 kilometers of ice and found a hidden lake buried beneath it, Lake Vostok. The water had been sealed off for at least 15 million years. When they sampled it, they discovered strange forms of bacteria unlike anything known on the surface. That means while we've been evolving, there have been entire ecosystems hidden beneath the ice, evolving in complete isolation, untouched by light or air. And beneath our oceans? There's another secret world: the deep biosphere. Microbes have been found living over 2 kilometers below the seabed, in rock pores, where there's no sunlight, no oxygen, and barely any nutrients. They live so slowly that some reproduce only once every few thousand years. Think about that: entire species existing in near-time suspension, pulsing faintly in the dark, like ancient echoes of life refusing to die. But let's rise again, not into the sea, but into the wind. There's a sound so low and deep that your ears can't hear it, but your body can feel it. It's called infrasound, created by earthquakes, ocean waves, even the movement of air around mountains. Elephants and whales use it to communicate across great distances, but humans can only detect it as a vague feeling: unease, dizziness, or awe. Some scientists think infrasound might even explain why certain places feel haunted. The Earth itself hums in ways that stir our instincts before our minds can understand. And speaking of the unseen, did you know that the ground you stand on is transparent, at least to neutrinos? Every second, trillions of these ghost-like particles pass through your body and through the Earth as if it weren't even there. They come from the sun, from distant stars, from the birth and death of galaxies. They're the messengers of the universe, silent travelers that ignore matter entirely. You're being crossed by the cosmos at this very moment and you can't feel a thing. Now, here's something that will bend your perception of time. If you were to compress Earth's entire history, 4.5 billion years, into a single 24-hour day, humans would appear only in the last few seconds before midnight. Everything we know, our civilizations, our wars, our discoveries, all of it would flash by in a moment before the day ends. The rest of the day belongs to Earth itself, its mountains rising and eroding, oceans forming, continents drifting, and countless species living and dying in the rhythm of eons. And the atmosphere that wraps around us like a fragile shell? It wasn't always here. Billions of years ago, Earth's air was toxic, filled with methane and ammonia. Then cyanobacteria, microscopic architects of the planet, started releasing oxygen as waste. Slowly, the air changed, turning deadly for most of the old life but perfect for new life, including us. Every breath we take is thanks to a microscopic revolution that happened 2 billion years ago. Now imagine this: there are places on Earth where fire and ice live side by side. In Iceland, volcanoes sleep beneath glaciers, and when they erupt, they create explosive floods of meltwater known as Jökulhlaups. These floods can carve new valleys in hours, erase rivers, and reshape entire landscapes. It's a violent reminder that Earth isn't a quiet home, it's a restless artist, painting and erasing with equal passion. And if that still hasn't made you question what you know, here's one more thought: our planet has scars. Giant circular basins, hidden beneath jungles and oceans, mark where asteroids once slammed into the surface. Some of those impacts were so massive they melted the crust, darkened the sky for years, and rewrote the course of evolution. One of them, near modern-day Mexico, ended the reign of the dinosaurs. But that same destruction opened the door for mammals, and eventually, us. Our existence is the result of a cosmic accident, a collision that could easily not have happened. Yet even as life rose from the ashes, the Earth continued to shift. Mountains erode, oceans rise, climates swing between ice and fire, and still, the planet endures. It has survived impacts, extinctions, reversals, and upheavals that would annihilate any single species. And through all that chaos, it remains the one place we know in the entire universe that creates and sustains life. And maybe that's the greatest fact of all, that in a universe filled with silence, radiation, and endless night, there's a small, blue world that breathes, hums, and remembers. A planet where life fought against impossible odds, and won. And that, my friend, is the truth that humbles every mind that dares to look close enough, the truth that this planet, our home, is not just a rock floating in space, but a living masterpiece of balance and chaos, beauty and destruction, life and death woven together across billions of years. We walk across its skin and call it ground. We breathe its ancient air and call it sky. We drink its recycled oceans and call it water. But none of it truly belongs to us, we belong to it. We are one heartbeat in the long rhythm of the Earth, one flicker in the endless conversation between dust and light. So the next time you look up at the stars, remember this: you are standing on a world that has survived fire, ice, storms, impacts, and time itself, and still manages to cradle life with unthinkable grace. Every sunrise, every drop of rain, every whisper of wind is the planet saying, "I'm still here." And as long as we are too listening, learning, and wondering, maybe that's the greatest fact of all. This is Apple from AppleKnows, and now you know.